the storage and reorganizations project. I think this is now part 21. We are going to look at the vacuum storage area tonight and see if we can get this shelf in place and or see what else we can fit on the right side where the height reduces due to the stairwell and you can no longer fit vacuums. Let's get a couple things out of the way and then we'll open up this area, which I just remembered is much easier to do if we take these carpets out of the way first. I think it's worth taking the couple of seconds that it takes to pull these up so that the shelves roll around much more easily. Which we're going to have to be moving the shelves around quite a bit because I can't get out of here with the shelf in the way. Alright, so one of the first things we have to do is cancel out that piece of frame at the bottom. If that frame is anything like the other parts of the frame, that will come out fairly easily, like with just a couple smacks of the hammer that we have here in the studio. That's actually much more sturdy than the rest of the frame. Wonder why that is. It's not even budging. Well, I guess I'm going to have to get some better tools for that part of the operation. It just occurred to me that we probably can cut this off here if we just screw this to the stairwell. So I think we'll just pass a screw through there to connect it to the stairwell, and then we'll cut that part off because it will make it much easier to get stuff in and out of here without having those beams there. Because these beams are holding some drywall up, so we don't want to just leave them hanging, but more than likely this is enough. Just to hold it in place. I think that's all that we need. Good, now we'll cut it off. On second thought, I think we're only going to cut the this middle one, this one here, because we might use the one on the left to attach the shelf, but there's no foreseeable use for this one here on the right. That's convenient. There's not even any nails left over. Okay, so that's one part that we don't need anymore removed. Now let's see what we can do under here in terms of canceling this part out. We gotta get a few more the vacuums out of the way. I'm using this camera because the other one, the Ghost Pro camera, doesn't fare too well in this low light condition under here. So you'll get a better picture out of this one. Now we've got some sharp edges here to deal with. We got two nails sticking up here. That's no good. And is there value in having this here? I don't think that there is. I don't think that this... I don't think that that serves any structural purpose. No, it can't, because this is barely even in place there, so no, I don't think that it does. I don't know how that board is secured down. I think it's just nailed to the floor, which is not great. That means we're going to have small holes in the floor, which is a potential spot for liquids to come through. And there's certainly no shortage of those around here, especially not in the springtime. I don't think that this area has water come up in it, at least not that I've seen. But I don't know. It might be better to just leave that and put some plywood down in case water comes. I think we're going to leave it. And just hammer down those nails and leave it at that. Okay, so I think what we'll do now is I might just put some of this back and then shift this piece of plywood over after we clean everything up under here. It's pretty grungy under here, so let's do some vacuuming, which is ironic, and get all these cobwebs out of here and get this dust out of here, and then we'll put down some wood. Some of the wood. I'll have to check and see what I got in the garage. I think, actually, you know what I have? I have one extra piece left over from the phone shelves. Could use that on the floor here. If there's enough pieces of plywood, that should be fine. I mean, not enough pieces of plywood, enough pieces of 2x4s down on the floor. That should be fine. Why does that sound like there's all grit underneath there? That's not ideal. I don't like when things have grit underneath them. It wrecks the surfaces of the table. Ugh, that just totally fell apart. Alright, the area's clean now. It's pretty dirty under there. Lots of cobwebs. That area probably hasn't been cleaned in at least 2 years, so all things considered, that's not too bad. Alright, so now let's see here. So we know that the an upright vacuum cannot be stored past this area here. So that means our shelf should go here. I don't know if you can see this or not. It might be out of the frame. Hopefully it's in the frame now. The upper tier shelf should start here, and the lower tier storage portion will start there. That's actually a good amount of space. That's not bad. I think we'll be able to fit at least one, if not two, of the shop vacs that I want to store here underneath there. And then this other portion up top, though, on the contrary, is not going to be super useful because it narrows very quickly. So the amount of things that we're going to be able to store there is fairly limited. I've got some lumber in here now, and we're going to have to make some cuts to build like a frame. Can you see it clearly now? Gosh, this video is horrible quality production. So we're going to put a frame that goes from here back, and then probably put one support in the middle and then one here. And I think that we're going to use this area for light bulbs that I keep on premise, because this is a super easy area to access. And when a light bulb burns out, of course we know that's a huge, massive production around here, you want to be able to just go grab a spare to swap in place. So this should be in an easy to access position. So I think that's what we're going to do. So we'll cut a 2x4 to go. I guess we'll use this as the height here, because that clears all the vacuums. So we'll install the 2x4, I guess about here. And, oh, actually that might become a problem now with this, because when you're trying to get the vacuums in and out of here, that might be a pain point. Is this, I don't know if this individual piece is secured to the floor or not. I might be able to cut that out. I'm not sure how that's set up. Might have to evaluate that. I think we got to evaluate that. I want to see if I can, is that piece removable? I really have no idea offhand. Wouldn't be surprised if it's just resting there. It would not surprise me in the slightest. I think it is. It's moving a little bit. I'll try to cut it out. It's going to be a challenging cut, but I'll give it a try. See if I can get it out. Yeah, I just damaged the blade again. I knew that was going to happen. Rats. Let's see if I can straighten this out. This is what happens when you use the tools improperly. They break. Now this blade is busted. Oh, I think I fixed it. I fixed it. Let's see if we can break it again. Yep, I broke it again. Rats. Now I gotta see if I can fix it. I fixed it. Now let's see if we can break it again. That's getting a little too hot. Oh, rats. It just broke. This isn't going too well. I almost wonder if the circular saw would be a better option here. I fixed it. But I don't think it matters because I think it's just going to keep breaking. Yeah, it's getting too hot. How are we going to cut this? Problem is I can't get this down low enough, and then it breaks. I think we're going to have to try a manual saw for this. This is going to be very tedious and borderline outrageous, but I got a manual saw. This will cut down very close to the bottom. So let's see if this will work. Well, that certainly yielded much better results, I think. I'd say so. Sometimes manual tools work better. That's not too rare of an occurrence. Alright, so that'll make it easier to slide the vacuums in and out when the height gets reduced. It's going to get reduced by about 1.5 inches from the 2x4 being in place. Okay, let's see how much of this wood we can reuse. We can reuse this piece. So we'll cut this down. We gotta clean it up, but we can reuse this piece if we cut it about there. I really don't like the idea of cutting and preparing wood in this freshly cleaned studio, but I don't think we have a good alternative because the alternative is doing it outside and it is absolutely freezing. Can't do it in the garage because the Christmas lights are spread over the garage right now. All right, let's cut this side instead. This is not the right blade for this type of cut. I should really go get the other saw. This is going to take a lot longer than necessary because it's the wrong blade. Oh, that's great. Freakshow. Always in the video. This makes more dust than a manual saw, which is why I didn't want to use that, but worked better. All right, let's see how the fit is. Probably horrible. It's horrible. It's about 1 inch off. Can't make this stuff up. I don't know why I have zero ability to measure things. This has been an issue for a long time, and it's not even remotely close. Complete waste. All right. I don't think that's really the tool's fault. That's I just can't measure fault. But I'm going to go get some better tools because this is ridiculous. I got a more corrector saw. I just remarked the measurements. Let's try again. Here's the saw. It's vintage, so it should work better. And the cut should come out correctly this time because the saw is vintage. Oh man, this saw needs to be sharpened. That ain't gonna cut through a piece of paper. Even though it's incorrect, that did get the job done pretty well. But the cut might be wrong because it was the wrong saw. Actually, it's pretty reasonable. Okay, so now we got to figure out where to mount it. From a structural perspective, it would be more secure like this. But I'm going to put it like this because I think we're just going to have light bulbs on here. It's not very heavy. And I don't want to lose the height clearance. That'll be a problem. Whoa. That could have been a problem too. It'll be a problem if we lose the clearance side to side, or the height clearance. So, yeah, we're not going to do it that way. We're going to do it this way so that a vacuum can still be slid in and out with relative ease. If we start going like this, you know, it's going to get close. But if it's like this, we got a couple extra inches. That makes a difference. So I'm going to get the drill out here, and we'll drill some holes, get some screws in, and get this piece installed. And then we'll just use the level to account for where the rest of the stuff is going to go, as opposed to playing stupid measuring games. I hate measuring. It's a stupid activity. So we're going to put it, let's see, is this in the frame? Kind of. We want to put it in line with that, so we'll put the holes right about here. Okay, consider those holes drilled. So now we'll get some screws out. And we'll put the screws in these holes. What the heck? Seriously? Okay. Where is the level? Here it is. So I'm going to use this to mark where it should go on the other side. And this does not need to be a work of precision. It's not perfectly level, it just doesn't really matter, but make it as level as we can. But okay. And we got the holes in the other side. I might have to pull out one of these fans to get these screws in on this side. This could be a little tricky here. That was not good. No, I didn't put the bit in. That's not very useful. It does work a little better for screws when you have a bit installed. At least that's just my experience. Everyone's experience will vary. I might have to go get the Verticam drill. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it like this. And I might need the Verticam drill multiple times. So I might as well just go get it now. I got the Verticam drill. And then we got to move the bit from the Horizcam drill into the Verticam drill. Now we'll use this to, this is a very bad angle to work at, but we use this to put these screws in. This is not the right size bit. Probably could have just used 3-inch screws. The 4-inch might be a bit much. Let's see if we got a bit that fits this a little bit better. I don't like the way the throttle control works on this drill. I find it very difficult to maneuver. There's like a delay. See the difference of the right bit? It's amazing. Oh, shoot, it's already stripped out. Yep, not good. Always have to have the right size bit. It is so important. Well, that time, the screw totally stripped out. I think these screws aren't very good. Great. Now it's stripped in both directions, and I think that we might just finish screwing it in with a vice grip. Yeah, I kind of vaguely remember this now. The last time I used these screws, they just stripped like mad no matter what you were doing. This is not going well at all. I'll take it out and try one more time. Maybe now with much of the hole already drilled, it'll go in okay. Yeah, I definitely remember this now. The last time I used these screws, this happened. I hate to just throw out a box of screws, but that's about as useful as these are. It's got to go this way. I don't know what kind of metal these are made out of, but it's just, the material is too soft. It strips out way too easy. That's a full-on strip out, which is uncalled for because I'm using the right bit and I had a lot of force on that. These are Grip Right branded, which is, from my experience, usually halfway decent. Well, we'll try one more time. And if it strips out again, then we have to change the approach. Well, it did strip out again, but I think I got it in enough. No, this is all wobbly. This is not good enough. Oh, let's see if the other side gives us the same problems. I can get the right leverage on it on the other side, so see what happens here. The heck? Stripped. I'm tossing these screws. These are no good. Both sides, no good. I gotta get some different screws. And just because I'm stubborn, I'm gonna try it one more time. Okay, well, sometimes persistence pays off. I got it. It's nice and solid now. I really don't want to go through that with every single board we're going to put together here, but I might have to. So let's get this one nail out of here. Now it doesn't even look remotely level to me anymore. Probably in all this fussing with the screws, it went completely out of alignment. Yep, that is exactly what happened. I mean, it's not even remotely close. That's fine like that, but this is not workable. After all that, and that's not something you can easily fix either. Well, for some reason I seem to be able to kind of fix it. Alright, let me see if I can fix this. Of course, I would go right through the screw. Okay, I fixed it. Alright, now we have to get we got to get a board that goes across from here straight over, so we can drill the holes for that now. Now we got to make a measurement here, see how long that needs to be. That needs to be 96. There's a staple on this. What the heck, it sounds like a snake in here. Wow, that's strong. Okay, 96. Good. Now we got to get that nail out of there. We're using all repurposed lumber for this project because the project ran out of budget. But that's fine. This is still good enough to use. So we'll put this side by there, and then this side, is that a mold? I don't know if we should just cut this corner off. It's hard to get started. Good, now the mold is gone. That's still kind of unappealing. That looks like it might have been some kind of, I don't know, bug tracks or something. Who knows? Let's drill some holes. Okay, now we'll check the fit, and it probably won't fit. Maybe it will, who knows. So this piece will go from the front here to the back, like this. And it actually fits pretty good, surprisingly enough. Now this is where the 4-inch screws would be necessary because of the depth. Hopefully they'll go in a little bit easier now because of the depth. Well, that was not ideal. Why the heck is that happening? All right, now I gotta go on the inside there and get it to be screwed in. Good, now it's level. Yeah, well, we might need the... I'll be able to do it with this one. This is pretty awkward working quarters here. Very awkward angles. Very poor leverage conditions. All right, that's pretty good. This does not need to be super strong. It just, by nature, it doesn't. It's not going to be holding a ton of weight. And it'll get stronger once the plywood goes across the top and kind of creates like a frame. Okay, so now we need another one of these. Well, we need, let's see, I guess two more lengths. What does the alignment of this look like? If we put it here, doesn't line up very well at all to anything. It might be best to drill the holes in that wall and then pass the screws into the yeah, that's probably what I should have done on the other side too. That would have been stronger. Well, regardless, we need another 97 inch. Or not 97 stupid inches, a 97 logical centimeters. Or was it 96? I think it was 96 because I remember it seemed like there was a snake in here. Alright, this has got a really dodgy end piece to it. I think we're going to cut that part off because it's flaky. Okay, 96. It's split. Rats. Okay, so this piece, I think we're not going to drill any holes into it. I think we're just going to put it like this. So, how are we going to connect it over here? It's going to pose a challenge. Well, this is posing a challenge. I can try to drill in right above the screws, but the likelihood of hitting the screws is pretty high. But I gotta try it because that's what we have to do. It's got to go in just above the screws, and then I'll try to get a second one kind of offset somewhere somehow. I think I'll just miss the screws if I go here. Did I hit the screw? It doesn't feel like a screw, it feels like a knot. Yeah, it's not a screw. Not a screw. Okay, and then maybe I'll try to go through here. Maybe I'll try to go kind of at an angle like this. Grab it that way. This way at least I've got two screws holding it. I think that this screw is grabbing on to the non-drilled out part. I gotta clear it out from the other side. Cleared it out. That doesn't have much of any grab at all. That's not going to work. Let's see if this grabs it any better. It did. It's still not great though. It's not great. I don't think I can do that with the regular screw thingy. I gotta use the Verticam one, I think. I'm gonna try to use the regular one and get much better grip on it. Less likelihood of stripping these stupid stripping screws. They're too soft. What the heck? It sounds like a snake again. Oh, that's great. Oh, this is going to be fun. not in a good way. I'm gonna have to get all these vacuums out of here so I can put enough leverage on this. Stripped. These screws stink. Awful screws. Not the kind of screws you want to work with. These screws are just awful. Up, wrong, awful. Of course, not being able to put any leverage on it is not helping either. Why? These holes are not right. The holes aren't even close. What the heck? Out of all the things to be screwed up, that's what screwed up the stinking holes? Very close to the top. No! It's stripped again. It's not even positioned properly. I had to redo the whole thing. New holes, new screws. I don't know how I managed to barf up the location at hole. That's pretty stupid. But that's what happened. I guess I'll drill into the beam a little bit too, so that the screws have less travel to deal with. Maybe, just maybe, they won't break. Five screws have failed so far during this project. You've got to be kidding. I've never had this much difficulty with screws. the right bit. I'm putting as much force as I possibly can on this. Pre-drilled holes, and they're still stripping out. It's got to just be junk screws. I don't know what else to chalk this up to. I've never had this kind of a problem before. I can't get it. Totally stripped out. I just don't understand why. This is very frustrating. Just completely stripped out. I don't get it. I'm putting so much force, it's still going to break the stinking screw gun here. Totally stripped again. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Completely stripped out. Bit just broke. This is really getting out of hand here. And clearly we're putting us under a lot of force if the bit just broke, but I don't understand why. Then I feel like there's still something wrong with the screws then. Are the screws not like cutting into the wood effectively, or I don't know. I don't know what's going on here, but something's jacked up. Stripped. I've got pretty close. Stripped. I don't know what to do with these screws. They're useless. Stripped. I've really never had this happen before. I've done plenty of carpentry over the years, and you know, this is a first. I don't know why this is like this. Stripped clean. Can't even get any grip on it to get it out now. I think I might actually just throw out this box of screws. It's useless. It would have been done by now if this was not such a problem here. This is going to take some time to get this one out because I can't turn this all the way around. Oh man, this is not good. Is it the wood? Is it the screws? Maybe it's the wood. I don't know. This bites. I'm about ready to cut this. I've still got one more to go. I can try to just drill the hole as far back as I can. It's turning pretty free. I don't feel like it should be having that much difficulty. Try to drill the hole deeper. It's only grabbing on probably not even 2 centimeters of wood. At some point it's not going to be stable enough. Let's go in with this bit and try to clear as much of the surface area out as possible and see if we can get it in that way. I don't know. Something's goofy here and I don't like it. Hate wasting materials, but something's wrong with these materials here. It's already drilled out almost the whole length of the screw. I don't have to take that off of there. Going through the whole stinking battery in the drill here with this. Stripped. Stripped. Yo, this is whack. I don't understand what the problem is here. The hole is drilled almost all the way through. It's grabbing on hardly anything, and it still won't go. Almost there. It's stripped out again now. I don't know, 4 or 5 more screws might do it. Normally I wouldn't work this way, but these screws are not worth much if the heads are so soft that you can't screw them in. Alright, that's reasonable. It's stripped, but it's just, that's just the way it's going to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 screws to get this in. 9 if you count the ones that actually went in. That's ridiculous. Never seen anything like this. Well, it's stripped out, but it's pretty sturdy. Okay, we got to play this game one more time. One more time over here. So this one will go the entire length of the unit here. So let's find out what number we need. We need 105. Split pretty bad on both sides here. I'll just have to cut that part out. There's a hole here, so maybe we should use the other side. Check the fit. And it's off because I did not take into consideration the fact that that board prevents it from going all the way back. So we got to cut off another about 1.5. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, how the heck am I going to attach it is the next question. And to that question, I have to think about the answer. We don't have a lot of options. Probably going to have to go up diagonally. Probably go up diagonally like this. That was not the right size bit. Oh, that's great. I think that it might be time for some new tool batteries. I've had these for a long time though. I've had these for probably 4 years now. And they get used pretty heavily. That might give a good enough grab on there. Wish we could get this screwed in more, but it's just literally not worth the trouble. Switch back to the smaller bit, and I will try to drill out the hole for the screw to go in as much as possible. Okay. Now, well, let's see if it'll go in. It may or may not. Put this on too steep of an angle. Oh, it at least went in properly. That's a notch above what we've been getting. Oh, rats, I gotta use the Verticam drill. This screw is bent right out of the box. Unbelievable, it's bent right out of the box. But come on. say, if not one thing, it's something else with this project. I can't do that. Well, that's as in as they're going to be. I think that's the best one we got yet. Really? Stripped already? Gotta be kidding. Why? I drilled the hole completely. It's not cutting through anything new. This screw's bent out of the box too. Well, it's stripped, but it's in place. Okay, well that was annoying. Did not go as easily as I would have expected at all. It's probably about a 3-hour project at this point. I've been cutting a lot out of this video just because it's been taking a long time. Alright, so that's done. The frame is built. We have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 failed screws. And really most of the ones that are in there successfully are also kind of failed too because they're stripped. Oh, I didn't account for these. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 busted screws. And 1 busted bit. I don't know. No, 16 busted screws. It's a lot of busted hardware for one project. That's a lot of busted hardware for multiple projects. Alright, well, busted hardware aside, it's stronger than it might look, especially with how bad it's assembled. It's actually quite quite solid. And once we have the plywood on top, giving it some rigidity, I think it's going to be plenty strong, especially just to hold a couple boxes of incandescent light bulbs. So let's put one of these pieces up here and see how the fit is. So we're going to have to make some cuts here to get these two pieces to fit this properly. And these cuts we might end up doing with a jigsaw. Because I would like it to be sitting on here. Well, actually, you know what? That might not be of advantage. I wonder if what we should do instead, because this already doesn't go all the way, maybe instead what we should do is just add a couple of bars in between. Well, that's probably not even necessary. No, I don't think it's necessary. So we're not going to do that. But we do have to cut this down. We got to cut it well, it might be worth cutting parts of the ends off so we could get it to slip underneath the the stairwell there, because that's not a useless space if you're talking about packages of light bulbs. Alright, let's start cutting away at this here and see if we can make a good fit. We might have to, this might end up being our stopping point if we run out of battery on the saw, because this, I don't want to do this manually. So we'll just cut over a little bit like this. That's probably good on this side. We've got to cut a little bit off the other side now. Alright, good. It slides under there now. So now we've got to make a cut here, and maybe on, actually what we could probably do is just screw it another 2x4 under there to and maybe I could support it over there. Maybe I'll put a 2x6 just to connect it, because this is going to be fairly strong if it's screwed here and screwed there. Oh, it's a low battery error. If this is screwed down here and this is screwed down here, this is fairly strong. But if it stops and it's not one continuous piece, this might not be super strong by itself. I'm not sure. We'll have to kind of see how that pans out. All right, we got to make another cut now right down the middle, and I think we might just do it in place. Probably not the greatest idea, but it might work. Start it out here. How am I going to start this? This actually cuts pretty easily with this saw. I think I'll be able to do this with a reasonable degree of accuracy. This is not coming out straight by any means. I guess I'll take it out, cut it on the floor, get a better cut that way. It's not cut enough. Interesting. Well, that's the better of the two errors to have. Okay, perfect. The cut is horrible, but it doesn't matter. Alright, our shelf here is really shaping up. So now, the last thing to do is we got to screw this down and see how this is going to be kind of flimsy here. So we're either going to have to run another support right down the middle here, or we'll need to screw this to itself. Just like put a 2x4 underneath here and screw this together so that it gets some structural rigidity. I think that that's going to be a task for tomorrow. I think at this point in the day, it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning. I think we should just clean up and recharge the tools and then finish up tomorrow, because that shouldn't make much of a mess just to put these screws in, and then we'll load this up with the light bulbs. So not my best work by any means. Some pretty bad methods used here. A professional bad example in the words of UXW Bill, but the end product is pretty good and will certainly serve its purpose. I'm not sure how much of this you're going to see because it's been on low battery for quite some time now. But there won't be anything too interesting going on at this point, so whenever it cuts off, it cuts off. or if you want to stop watching, because I said there will be nothing interesting after this part, I suppose you're entitled to do that too. But there will be some vacuuming, so for those that like vacuuming, you can continue watching. If you hate vacuuming, then stop watching. I'm glad we were able to use up some of that lumber. That was all repurposed materials. Nothing there was new. So this cost $0, which is great. Some leveler on the floor here. Just break that up so we can cancel it out. Probably need to change the bag in this after this project. This is very dusty and it's going to clog. Just like sandpaper with no WD-40. feel like this is clogged. It doesn't sound right. We'll have to check it soon. It's got plenty of suction still, but I don't know, it doesn't sound quite right. Alright, so we're not done with the vacuum storage aspect yet because we still have to figure out what the most efficient way to store them is under here. And that we're not going to take care of tonight. We'll just put as many back in here as we can. And then we'll have to revisit this. It's going to be able to fit quite a few. I think this is a very good use of this space. Yeah, see, that's not the best way to do it. We'll have to figure out what the best way is. Just a geometric puzzle here. Huh. I didn't realize these would fit like that. Interesting. Well, that kind of canceled where I was going to put the shop vacs. Several of these machines still need bag changes from the Christmas tree cleanup. Oh, that might actually be our answer. I don't think quite as many went in as came out, but that's okay. The purpose of this task was not to get as many vacuums in here as we can. The purpose was to build the shelf, and that was successful. So this was a success. You know what? They also weren't. They weren't all sitting flat either. Some of them were kind of piled on top of each other, I think. Yeah, they definitely were. Which is not really the way that I want it to be. Yeah, I don't like this. Well, this is to be revisited. That's fine. Let's just finish cleaning up, and I'll sort this out another day. I'll leave this geometric freak show for another time. All right, so that's that for today. Not bad. Now we can make use of this space up here. Easy access space. We'll put light bulbs there. We're starting to get to the point now where some of this is going to just get canceled out because it's already been reused once, and there's just not much that's useful left. This will keep. This piece will keep. This piece will keep. I don't think that that's mold. This will keep. This is potentially useful. That will keep. That I think is dirty. We're going to cancel that out. This, aside from these nails, is still good. Let's see if we can get these nails out of there. If we can, we'll keep that piece. If not, we'll cancel that piece out. Incandescent. Kind of sounds like a bell. Okay, easy enough. I'll keep this piece too. And I guess we'll keep that one. Definitely going to keep that saw. That works pretty good. Cancel, cancel, cancel. And we'll keep that one. And the rest of this is all going to be canceled out. That we can keep too. And the rest of this I will cancel out. No! That's dangerous. It's kind of scary to walk through this area that has so many tripping hazards, carrying a piece of wood with nails sticking out. It is unpleasant. I think all the cancel out bins are in the garage, so I will take a trip in there and grab one. Got lots of scrap wood out here I gotta cancel. Too bad there's no skunks out here. What a shame. Alright, here's the cancel out bucket. Seriously? Okay. And I guess we'll cancel out all these screws, because those are spoiled. And we'll cancel out that bit, because now that's spoiled too. I'll move all this stuff into the garage tomorrow when it's warmer out. The only thing I'll move into the garage tonight is the stinking lithium batteries. I don't want to have those in here. It's still got battery going, I guess. It's got to be getting towards the end by now. That blade is such a piece of junk. Stool is pretty wobbly. Okay, make sure this is in the frame. It's in the frame. And then I think we're going to call it after we get this generally cleaned up here. Switch this over to carpet cleaning mode. So I just need to engage this clutch there, or whatever you call that thing. This is such a good vacuum. There was some caught. I knew something was wrong. Always listen to your equipment. If your equipment doesn't sound right, then it's not right. Yeah, there was definitely some stuff clogged in there. And here it's running at a much lower speed now because the fan is back under load. Alright, now we got to clean these individual carpets here. And yes, it is better to leave equipment running, even if it's in a moment of inactivity, because the startup and shutdown sequence of equipment is usually what induces the most wear. So almost always when things break is on startup or shutdown. brush roll is off the floor when it's up like that, so there's no reason to not leave it running. Alright, I'd say we're mostly cleaned up at this point. Excellent vacuum. Another product that I think is underappreciated simply because it was sold under a store brand. These are made by Panasonic, which is a very good brand. Yeah, that's one thing I will give Kenmore, is that Kenmore usually chose very good OEMs for the equipment. You know, a lot of the appliances were built by Whirlpool, which is a very good OEM. In fact, I would say that Whirlpool probably held on to quality longer than almost any other brand. And even the stuff today, while it's nowhere near as good as it was in the 90s and older, it's probably the most respectable stuff you can get. Not that that's a very high bar to clear, but it still says something. Alright. That's it for this episode. I will clean up the rest of this in the morning. I don't want to keep opening up the doors. It's very cold out. So I'll move this stuff into the garage tomorrow. And then we'll sort out that area a little better in the future.